One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I've got a long show planned. I'm not sure how long it will be because there's so much video I've got to show you. But I was going to start directly with the video, but I'm waiting for right now. They're about to hold a press conference with an update as to what's going on with the search for the guy. They do have a picture. If you guys haven't seen the picture, I want you to see this.
Not going to leave that to chance. Well, then this could be video from, let's say, a week before the event, which makes it a little bit softer as far as accuracy. So we have to just wait to see what they do here. I'd like to see video as opposed to a still, because a walk can be very, very dispositive. And if nobody recognizes him now, well, they'll recognize the walk.
Well, apparently they do have video that they're holding right now. They're not releasing it, that they did release these photos. But what you said right there, Paul, brings up...
All right, so they're getting ready for the press conference. As soon as that press conference comes up, or at least the update from the FBI, I can tell you now they have offered a $100,000 reward. I would suspect that reward is going to climb quite high. I'm pretty sure people like Elon Musk and others will begin putting some money into this to see if this guy can be caught. If that is the person, who knows if that actually is a person. Right now he is labeled as a person of interest, not a suspect. He hasn't graduated to that point yet. So we'll see what happens. But in any event, I hope you guys all slept well. I hope everything went well. And you know, all morning long, I've been seeing different things on X, and I've been really digging into some research today, and it seems like the sentiment has largely fallen into three categories. That one category is the loony left, who is cheering and happy and making themselves known on TikTok and other places, some of which I think is fake. Still sick, but I think it's fake. Then I think you have a middle ground of outrage, a complete outrage of what has happened. And then I think there's a third bit of sentiment which may be because of the timing of it, is there's a lot of sadness still, a lot of tears, a lot of trying to deal with this. I am going to probably try today to center in the middle of those three things. The tears are very personal. The tears are tears that it's natural. It's natural to feel sadness. And I'm going to show you some sadness later on, some really genuine sadness. But I think we need to concentrate as a whole, as a group. And I really thought about this. I think we need to think as a group that middle ground. What comes next? And that's why I labeled today's show, We're All Charlie Kirk. Because I do feel that today. Because everything that Charlie Kirk stood for and that Charlie Kirk died for is directly referenced to you and me. I never knew Charlie Kirk. I never met him. I watched, obviously, like you, many of his videos. We covered many of his events. And all I saw was a guy who loved his family, loved the cause, loved the movement, loved his country, loved his family, and loved the Lord. And I can't find any problem with any of that. And so if that describes you, I doubt you can find any problem with that, which is what I believe causes a lot of the tears, because it feels like someone in your family just passed on. And accordingly, it should feel that way. It should feel, wait a minute, SV. See, you interrupted me in my talk here, SV. 1 second. He just said something about the press conference, and I just want to make sure we're not. I have it on one of my monitors. Hold on a second. Let me just check out what he just said in case it was postponed. Okay, so it's been postponed. Maybe that's good. Maybe something is about to happen. He just said he sent me the link that I can show you. So for whatever reason, they have postponed the press conference. Here's the link. The Utah, this was at 2:06, 5 minutes ago. The Utah Department of Public Safety has just postponed their press conference on Charlie Kirk, which was scheduled to begin shortly. This is due to rapid developments in the investigation. Good. I hope they're chasing this guy down. All right. So what I was saying is, it feels like there's a death in the family, because it is. It is a death in the family. And many of us have gone to funerals and have lost loved ones, and you understand how that feels. But in this regard, it's not just the death of a family member. And it's why I thought about changing and having you guys focus on this. I want you to think of it as the death of a fellow soldier. And when you start thinking about it in that regard, and you say, let me think about this. Yes, I understand I've been to funerals, and that's personal. But if you were in the military, and you understood that you were around death all the time, it could be right next to you. You don't have time to mope. You don't have time to mourn. That will come. You will come. But right now, the fight is still raging. The fight is still going on. He is a fallen soldier. And it's so, to me, it was so apt when I saw what happened today 24 years ago. There's things going into buildings, and there's buildings falling down, and people dying, and hatred everywhere. But at the moment it was happening, there were firemen and police rushing into that buildings. They didn't hesitate. We got to keep going. There's something wrong. We got to get there. Some of them ran to their death. They didn't have time to sit back and mourn. That's where I think we are today, and I think the day commemorates that. There will be time to mourn. There will be a service. There will be a casket. We will see his family crying. But today, the fight has to continue. You've got to run into that tower aptly saying. You've got to look at that tower and go, while everybody's going this way, you need to be going that way. Because that's what they're hoping would happen. They're hoping you would be running that way. When those buildings came down 24 years ago today, they were clapping. They were happy. They had struck America. But what they didn't count on is that, yeah, you struck 33,000 people and their families, and you hit America, and we bled. But we're coming for you. You pissed us off. We're going to, as Toby Keith said, we're going to put a boot in your ass. I won't be able to do Rumble tonight because we're still moving stuff around, but if I was, and when I do, that will be one of the songs I will play. You gave us a black eye. You stunned us. We got a little bit of a concussion, but we're shaking it off. Getting them smelling salts. Cut me, Mick. Cut me. I'm getting back in the ring. Because I got unfinished business with you idiots. I'm not done. I'm not knocked out. You took one of our soldiers down. You took a big soldier down. You took a lieutenant down. But the rest of us are still here. You have no excuse right now. Pull up your pants. Strap on the big boy, big girl belt, and let's go. Oh, man. Remember that? September 11th when the plane was going down in Pennsylvania? What'd they say? Let's go. Let's rock. We're going to die. We're all going to die. Every single one of us. This ain't your day. And if it is, it's not your time right now. So while you're still here, get in the fight. You are Charlie Kirk. They hate Charlie Kirk. They hate him completely. The same reason they hate you. They don't want to talk to you. They hate you. They want you dead. They want you defeated. They hated him because he calmly and effectively, with great effectiveness, explained to them why their worldview is completely effing wrong. And it's the same worldview that you have. So by doing something to him and destroying his worldview, they are looking to destroy yours. He took the bullet. You're still here. But you're trying to kill your view, your perspective, your faith, your patriotism. You see, what they call extreme, we call dear. When they say extreme, they refer to things like, he believed that men can't be women. You believe that, don't you? I'm pretty sure you do. He believed that nations should have borders. I believe that. You believe that. He believed that the unborn is valuable, that America is a great country, that the key to a successful life is loving Christ and building a family. Yep, I believe that. You believe that? Yeah. See, if you believe that, that's what's under attack. One guy took a bullet. Two guys took bullets. That one man and Charlie Kirk. But what they're looking to change and what they're looking to strike down is everything I just mentioned. Everything that you hold dear. Everything that you took for granted. I'm not pointing anything at you. I'm not saying you took for granted, because I did too. I never thought a man could become a woman. I just took that for granted. I believe in Christ. I believe in God. I don't take that for granted. Have we become so gilded that today we are taking it for granted, that people want to take that from you? I always thought a man and a woman could get together and promulgate and have kids and grandkids. And they're like, no, you don't need that. No. I took that for granted. I took it for granted that I could be prosperous, that I could buy real estate, and I could, look at developing and all these different things to help become more prosperous, and they're trying to take that away. So when you see Charlie Kirk get felled by an assassin's bullet, he's just one of the next soldiers that got hit. They want to take you away too. There is no room in this country for you and your old beliefs. There is no room in this country for your faith. Praying to some Easter bunny in the sky. Yeah, I'm upset. But I can't let that stop me. See, when I asked this morning, I was like, hey, some people got me. Somebody texted me, Barry, that's a trap, aren't you? I'm like, hell yeah, it's a trap. Hey, what should I talk about today? Because I wanted to see what the sentiment was. No, I didn't need the topics. I wanted to see how people were feeling. And a couple of people were like, yeah, let's go. Other people were like, let's pray. I don't have no more cheeks to give. I'm fresh out of cheeks. They might be fleshy, but you ain't getting them. Now is the time where you got to roll up your sleeves and tell everybody, nope, no more turning the cheek. I'm done. I'm in this fight. I will tweet. I will make videos. I will post whatever I can. I will put on the armor of God every single morning. You're not going to take that from me. I'm not going to let you. Not without a fight. See, I may succumb. I may get injured. I may get taken out. But you're going to know I was in the fight. Charlie let him know he's in the fight. Every single campus that he went to, he knew he was in the fight. I'm looking here real quick here. No, not yet. And he tried to shoot them with discourse. His weapon wasn't a gun or a rifle. It was his ability to have discourse, to meet you and say, hey, listen, ask me anything you want. I got this. What do you got? And the problem was their emotion didn't allow them to confront him. He proved something very, very, very evil about these people on the left, is that they are not governed by reason. They are governed by emotion. They are governed by evil. And so they don't have any words. When pressed to actually talk about something, they can't do it. And so if you can't talk to me on my level intelligently, then the only thing you can do is try to shout me down. And when you can't shout me down, you try to pull the plug. You can't pull the plug, then we need to pull the ultimate plug. Today, I can actually see it trying to raise its head, that right-wing podcasters need to be silenced. We're the problem. We're the ones out here telling people, hey, listen, you might be in a war. So now they've turned their focus towards us. Hey, we need to, I wouldn't be surprised if soon they say, hey, listen, you can't talk about this kind of stuff. Because I won't get up all in your feelings. I'm not here to own any libs. I'm trying to change minds. I'm trying to save souls. I'm trying to just get in there and be a fisher of men and women. And that's what Charlie was doing. He did it differently. He went out into the public, put himself out there on college campuses, and effectively articulated to millions of these kids who are being indoctrinated that what people like me and you want is actually right, is good. And if you didn't like it, let's talk about it. Let's come to an agreement of the minds. And he did it with a smile, which is probably worse than anything else to them. You're smiling at me while you're smacking me around. You see, leftists, liberals, communists, they think that these things are extreme that we hold dear because their entire worldview, their entire insane perspective relies on convincing you that common sense is wrong. A man become a woman, a man become pregnant. Boys can play girl sports. You can't use this word. You can't own property. You need to own nothing and be happy. All of the values that made our country great are somehow evil to them. That's because they're evil. They hate when people aren't afraid to speak the uncomfortable truths that they've deemed acceptable and desired. And rather than live in their corner of the world, if you think this, go ahead and think it. But stop trying to ram it down my throat. If you really think a boy can become a girl or a man can play in women's sports, find some league that'll allow you to do that. But why do you need to indoctrinate our kids? Why does there have to be, funky drag hours? I'm trying to figure out how to say that without getting in trouble. Why do RuPaul have to be in the kindergarten class? Why are you trying to ram it down people's throat? Why do you have like 18 months of the year where you got something? Well, today is official this month and official that month. Well, why? I'm married to a woman. You don't see me having month after month after month. I don't have 18 months on the calendar to do what I want. I know there's only 12 months. Don't at me. I understand. But I'm saying the ridiculousness of what they're doing. If you look it up, I want you to go look up how many official days there are on the calendar for people of that persuasion. There's this day, happy lipstick for, happy this for that. I looked at it, I was like, I think it's up to 140 official days on our calendar. Think I'm wrong? Go look it up. There's a Chihuahua Day, and there's a Maltese Day, and there's different days, but there's like 140 days that they have decided they're going to take on the calendar. Did you know that? Go look it up. I'm like, oh my God. In addition to the whole month. I mean, June, that's their whole month. I don't have a whole month. You have a whole month? Nope. We get 1 or 2 or 3 days. We have Mother's Day. They don't want that. We have Thanksgiving. No, they don't want that. It's indigenous people steal from them or something month, day. Christmas. You mean Xmas? You mean like, Kwanzaa and all these other things. Festivus. Everything that you hold dear, they are trying to destroy. They hated that Charlie Kirk was the leading force in red pilling an entire generation. He built an empire at Turning Point that changed the minds of millions of people, not just the kids, but their parents as well. And for a while, the left thought they had a grip on the culture of America. They weren't going to give it back, but now they realize those days are over, and they pretty much have accelerated their demise. So if it sounds like I'm a little angry, no, I'm not angry. No, I don't have time to be angry. In order for me to do what I have to do, I have to get up every single morning, do my research, understand what I'm going to talk about, kiss my wife, walk the dogs, get something to eat, work out, and get going. I cannot be felled. I cannot stop. I don't have the luxury of going, oh, I'm upset today. No, because I know Charlie wouldn't want that either. You got to fight. You got to keep going. Cried last night. May cry today. But in the meantime, we got to get going. We got to make sure that what he was doing is what we are doing today. And what he's instilled in all of us. And even people like me who never met him, never worked for Turning Point, had no interaction directly with him. But he convinced an entire generation to speak the truth loudly and with conviction. And he inspired people like me to turn on a friggin' camera. I'm like, well, how old's that dude? Oh, 31. Actually, let me go back 2 years. 29. And he's doing all that? Do you realize what kind of energy it must have taken for him to start up Turning Point? I'm just checking to see if they're doing anything. No. Can you imagine that? Saying to yourself one day, you know what? I want to create an organization that reaches out to college kids. And I want to tour the campuses around the country doing nothing. What's your entertainment? Me? What are you going to do? Talk? Who's going to show up and listen to that? I don't know. We'll see. And we'll just keep planting seeds and more kids will come. And we'll just keep doing it. I have been on concert tours, working on them as security, and then as a road manager for a couple bands, and then as a promoter. I know specifically what it's like to create an event from scratch, put it together, produce it, market it. It ain't easy. And then, it's one thing to promote one concert. It's another when you have a festival with 2 or 3 stages and hundreds of vendors and 20,000 people and 15 or 20 bands on specific times that they have to come on, and you're talking to the city, getting the permits, getting the vendors, the beer, the soda, the food, the electricity, the security. What he did was monumental in terms of what he had to do to succeed. He knew it was that important. And at least my events, you know, it's really funny, my events were ticketed. My events, I sold booze and beer and hot dogs and all that kind of stuff. It was a revenue. I was getting a return on my investment. Charlie Kirk created this, and his return were lives. His return was minds. Yeah, he had hats and t-shirts. Trust me, he wasn't making a living on that. And you've seen his productions in arenas and everything else. And what he charged, he wasn't making a living on that. It was getting the message out. So they took away his voice. But you cannot, and I urge you to please not let them take away your drive and your commitment to what you hold dear. President Trump.
Before we begin, let me express the horror and grief so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic people they are. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd. Very, very big. Thank you, my fellow Americans. 84 years ago this morning, the banks of the Potomac were filled with the clamor of construction workers who broke ground on the building now known as the Pentagon on September 11th, 1941. At the time, it was the biggest building ever built. From that moment forward, this structure stood as a monument to American strength, power, and cherished American freedom. Exactly 6 decades later, on September 11th, 2001, those same walls, built with the sweat and muscle, blood of our parents and grandparents, were scarred by flame and shaken by terror as our country came face to face with pure evil. On that fateful day, savage monsters attacked the very symbols of our civilization. Yet here in Virginia and in New York and in the skies over Pennsylvania, Americans did not hesitate. They stood on their feet and they showed the world that we will never yield, we will never bend, we will never give up, and our great American flag will never, ever fail. That terrible morning 24 years ago, time itself stood still. The laughter of school children fell silent. The rush of our traffic came to an absolute halt. And for 2,977 innocent souls and their families, the entire world came crashing down so suddenly. In the quarter of a century since those acts of mass murder, 9/11 family members have felt the weight of missed birthdays and empty bedrooms, journals left unfinished, and dreams left unfulfilled. To every member that still feels a void every day of your lives, the First Lady and I unite with you in sorrow. And today, as one nation, we renew our sacred vow that we will never forget September 11th, 2001. Amid the horror of that morning, some used cell phones and office lines to whisper their final words to those who mattered most. They whispered indeed. At 8:59 a.m. aboard United Flight 175, Brian Sweeney called his wife Julie. He told her, "Do good, go have good times. I totally love you. I'll see you again. I'll meet you up there." 4 minutes later, his plane hit the south tower of the World Trade Center. At 9:12 a.m. aboard American Airlines Flight 77, Renee May called her mom. Just the day before, Renee had learned that she was 7 weeks pregnant, but she never got the chance to share the news. She simply said, "I love you, Mom." 25 minutes later, Renee's plane struck the Pentagon. So violent, a strike it was. At 9:53 a.m. aboard United Flight 93, Elizabeth Waineo called her stepmom. They're getting ready to break into the cockpit. What do I do? I love you so much. They're going to break in. 10 minutes later, Flight 93 ended in the hallowed field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. At 10:25 a.m., Tom McGinnis was trapped on the 92nd floor of the North Tower when he told his wonderful wife, Elena, on the phone, "There are people jumping from the floors above us. If we get out of here, it'll be a total miracle. I love you, darling. Take care of Caitlin, beautiful daughter." 3 minutes later, the tower fell. Out of the ash, we witnessed the awesome power of that incredible love. We've seen it rise again. Out of the wreckage, we watched unbelievable courage suddenly take form. And out of the darkness, we saw the timeless truth of American character shine for the world to see. In America, we take blows, but we never buckle. We bleed, but we do not bow. And we defy the fear, endure the flames, and emerge from the crucible of every hardship stronger, prouder, and greater than ever before. Last year, we were a dead country. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. In New York, there were heroes like Chuck Costello, a 46-year-old elevator mechanic, and a member of the Knights of Columbus. He selflessly ran into the World Trade Center to free people trapped in the elevators. His body was not found until the following January, deep under the debris. While going through his belongings, Chuck's widow, Mary, a phenomenal woman, discovered a personal prayer written in his own words, "Help me to light the way for those in the dark, and when I enter the darkness, let me not panic, but patiently wait to remember the light." Beautiful words. When the time came, Chuck ran boldly into the darkness of hell on earth, and now he shines in the light of heaven above. We remember him this morning. That day we learned that the American heroic spirit was all around us.
I never like to interrupt the president, but I want you to focus on what those words he just said were. You're going to hear that again a little bit later from somebody else. How to not stay in the darkness, run through the darkness. You're going to hear Glenn Beck say something, and it's going to remind you what you just heard. And if somebody had told me something a long time ago, it's like, read the passage in the Bible where it talks about going through the shadows and the valley of death. And he said, focus on something. I'm like, what? I'm reading it. As I walk through the the valley of the shadow of death, right? I was like, it says go through it. And I never focused on those words. Go through it as I walk through the valley of death. Don't stop and hang out in the valley of death and evil and darkness. No, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to stay in the darkness, stay in the shadows and valley of death. You go through it. And that's something I want to impart on people today. Go through it. Don't let it define who you are. Don't stop. Don't stop your movement. Don't stop where you need to get to, because that's where you succumb. You've got to go through it. Every single one of us who's watching right now, I'm going to ask you a question right now, and this will prove it to you. What is the worst thing you've ever gone through in your life? What is the worst thing you've ever gone through? See, when you remember it, it breaks you up. But then you realize, I went through it. I'm still here. I'm still thriving. I'm breathing. The sun came out because I went through it. That was the question I asked you. What is the worst thing you've ever gone through? And I know if you're watching, you already went through it.
We saw it in the police officers, the great firefighters, the service members here at the Pentagon, and in the hearts of every American who answered history's call. One such hero was Army Sergeant First Class Steve Workman, who was on the edge of the impact zone when this incredible Pentagon was hit. He was right there. After leading hundreds of people to escape routes, Steve turned back and plunged into the inferno itself. Pushing through the debris, he came upon a severely burned Navy lieutenant, the only survivor from the Navy Command Center. Only one. The wounded lieutenant looked into Steve's soul and said, "Don't let me die." Steve replied, "I won't. I've got you. Just hang on." He wheeled the lieutenant out of the wreckage on the back of a maintenance cart before getting in the ambulance and taking him to Walter Reed Hospital. That man Steve saved, Lieutenant Kevin Schaefer, went on to join the elite team of CIA operatives who located Osama bin Laden. Steve, you're an American hero. We appreciate it. We appreciate what you've gone through. Please stand. Please stand. Where are you? Oh, good-looking man. You're a good-looking guy. You remember that day. You remember that day. Good. Thank you very much, Steve. That was something. That was something. In the years that followed, America's warriors avenged our fallen and sent an unmistakable message to every enemy around the world. If you attack the United States of America, we will hunt you down and we will find you. Go all over this sometimes magnificent earth. We will crush you without mercy and we will triumph without question. That's why we named the former Department of Defense the Department of War. It will be different. We won the First World War. We won the Second World War. We won everything before that and in between. And then we decided to change the name. Well, now we have it back to where we all want it. Everybody wanted it. Everybody is so happy to have it back. You will fail and America will win, win, win. The enemy will always fail. 24 years have passed since that Tuesday morning in September, and an entire generation of Americans have come of age in a totally different world. While they cannot remember the agony of that day, they are carrying on the legacy of those who lost. Around 8:30 a.m. on the morning of the attacks, Army Lieutenant Colonel Kip Taylor sent an email to his friends and family describing the joys of fatherhood and his excitement for the upcoming birth of his unborn son. He wrote, "After you have kids, there are days that you just get going and you say, 'Hi, honey, I'm home.' What we do until that moment pales in comparison, but just that little statement, 'Hi, honey,' so American, so beautiful." But that's really the point of it all, isn't it? An hour after he sent that email, Flight 77 flew into Colonel Taylor's Pentagon office and claimed the life of a very proud father and true patriot. 6 weeks later, on October 25th, 2001, Colonel Taylor's son, Luke, was born. Luke then tragically lost his mom to cancer when he was just 2 years old, leaving him to be raised by his father's brother. As a young boy, Luke asked his uncle about the folded flag on the bookshelf, and when he learned about his dad's decades of devotion to the Army and the horrors of September 11th, that's when he learned. Luke carried that memory with him and joined the ROTC as a college freshman. He graduated just last year, and I'm pleased to say he is with us today as a second lieutenant and doing very well. He's rising quickly in the infantry, preparing for Army Ranger School. He's spitting image of his dad, they say. Luke says that every time he puts on a uniform, he feels connected to his father and to our country. But it was a father he never knew. Luke, your parents are together in heaven, and they could not be prouder of the man that they have produced. They produced you. Those two great people produced you. Luke, please stand. Thank you. You look good, Luke. You look good. They're looking down on you. They're very proud. This morning, we recall the light of America's best and bravest and the love that they showed in their final moments. In their memory, we make a solemn pledge and a noble promise. We will honor always our great heroes, and you are our heroes. There's a group of people that don't want to talk about our heroes, but we will always talk about our heroes, and that's the way our country is, and that's the way the people feel. We will defend the nation they served, the values they upheld, and the freedom for which they died. We will support our troops, we will protect our families, and we will preserve the American way of life for every future generation. We will build taller, grow stronger, fight harder, and soar higher. And together we will go forward as one people with one heart, one faith, one flag, and one glorious destiny under Almighty God. May God bless the memories of those who died and the heroes who fought and the soldiers who still stand watch. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so I want to share with you something I had posted on Instagram a long time ago. I made this image, and it's so appropriate today because of what he just said. You know, one nation, not a whole bunch of splintered craziness. One nation under God. And I for the longest time when I've talked to people or if I've done speeches, I would say, remember September 12th, 2001. Not September 11th, 2001. And people would say, well, why am I remembering September 12th? Because that feeling that we had. September 11th, we wept. We couldn't believe what we were watching on television going, oh my God. And in September 12th, we were one. We were one country. We weren't hyphenated. We weren't Black American, Italian American, Japanese American. No, we were American. Let me prove it to you. I pulled this just now off of my Instagram feed from a long time ago. Remember that? Can you tell which one of those people are white or black or Italian or Spanish, Israeli, Canadian? Because it didn't matter. To me, it was so prophetic. I'm looking at this picture, and I'm seeing a bunch of people of all one color. It was like we were colorblind. We were nation blind. We were Americans. We were Americans on September 12th. And so today, after Charlie Kirk has been killed, I'm trying to get, people ask me, Barry, what are you going to do? I'm like, I want to remind people, be an American. I saw people today say, oh, Trump looks tired. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? You think he slept last night? I don't think he did. I bet you he walked the halls of the White House trying to get inspiration from Lincoln and Jefferson and Washington and going, what in the hell is going on here? I want to send the military into every city in the country and just take over. You can't do that, sir. And he probably was spitballing ideas. Call Stephen Miller, get him in here. Call this person, get Pam Bondi in. What are we going to do? Pump your brakes. Let's follow what we're supposed to do as Americans. Don't let them let you become what they have accused you of. Don't let them say, see, told you they were fascists and Nazis and crazies. No, direct that energy. Become your own DEW. In case you guys don't know what DEW is, direct energy weapon. Now is the time for us to fight. And as any good fighter does, especially if you're in the military, law enforcement, you don't leave anybody else behind. If there's someone in the chat who's, I don't know if I should, what we should, come on, get going. Grab them by the face mask. This is not the time to sit back and watch. You're going to hear this quote again later. And it's something Glenn Beck said, but I had to go look it up to make sure. I wanted the exact wording. I wanted you guys to see it. A tyrant dies and his rule is over. He's done. The martyr dies and his rule begins. I want you to read that. Suck it in. Think about it. The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule begins. That's probably the easiest quote for you to remember. Because over 2,000 years ago, somebody died on a fateful Friday, and his rule began. I don't know if Soren Kierkegaard was a Christian or not, but as soon as I read this and I went, tyrants over the course of history have died. They're done. There is no more Genghis Khan. There is no more Pontius Pilate. There is no more Hitler. Tyrants die, and they're done. The martyr keeps growing. Read that and let it sink in. Because too many people who are under the boot of a tyrant, they never get the opportunity to do anything until the tyrant is gone. But those like Charlie who were martyrs, it continues and it grows. And you have an actual role model. And his name is Jesus Christ. So you can't negate that being fake or fraudulent. Just remember that. That's where we are.
Let us pray. God of refuge and strength, an ever-present help in times of trouble, as we gather in this place and stand with family members and friends of those who lost their lives here 24 years ago today, I pray that you, the God of comfort, healing, and hope, would surround them with your presence. As we stand with those who served tirelessly on that day to preserve life, I pray that you would also bring them peace and comfort. Lord, as we stand this morning, I pray that we resolve anew to protect and defend. I pray that as we stand in this solemn and beautiful place, that you give us the faith and courage to bring beauty and restoration out of devastation. Lord, I pray that our service to the nation today would reflect our gratitude and respect for the honorable and sacrificial service of those we gather to remember. In your name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Byrd. On September 12th, 2001, the national colors were unfurled for all to see. The original flag was donated by Army Major General Jim Jackson, then the Military District of Washington commander. He sent over to nearby Fort Myer for the largest flag they could find. Thus, the U.S. Army Band's garrison flag took its place in history. The flag that day comforted all who saw her and symbolically declared our nation's resolve. Since that time, the national colors have been unfurled on the same spot each year, at dawn on 9/11, to remind all who attend the memorial ceremonies, those who go into work that morning, Pentagon visitors, and those who pass by on the highway, that this building remains solid, this department remains strong, and this nation remains resilient. Today's colors will be unfurled by members of the Washington Headquarters Services Facilities Operations and Services Division. The unfurling will be led by Mr. David Brown from the Facilities Operation and Services Division and Medal for Valor recipient. We invite all to join Pentagon Police Sergeant Anthony Brecht in the singing of the national anthem as the colors are unfurled.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I was a firefighter assigned to the 105th Air Wing at Newburgh, New York. I was one of the full-time firefighters, and I was on shift the morning of 9/11.
That day, I decided I wanted to be a cop, serve New York City, and I wanted to be a soldier, just like my uncles and my grandfather before me.
I lived in New York when 9/11 happened, and I was just in 5th grade, and I had family friends affected, and ever since I was in 5th grade, I knew I was going to join the military.
This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there has never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the 2 young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
See, you probably heard that last night, and you thought to yourself, "Wow, that's very compelling." What you didn't realize, it was a warning. What you didn't realize, it was a call to arms. What you didn't realize, but people are going to wake up this morning across the country and say, we're not going to take it anymore. Enough is enough. The fight goes on. We all got stunned. Hold on a second.
I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. So the FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis.
Now, the FBI says they have...
I didn't know there was a such thing as a forearm imprint. I didn't know. Maybe you'd catch Lily's scratches on me, but I didn't know there was a forearm imprint. Wow, that's amazing. But as I was saying, things are already forging forward to make sure, not just talk, but action to make sure this kind of stuff doesn't happen again. Let me show you this. Marco Rubio said they will now ban any foreigner from entering the country who they find has celebrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk online. Now understand, there's going to, right away, freedom of speech. Not for them. You have just now precluded yourself from entering America. Because now they can scan and use algorithms and basically, hey, Elon, can you pull up every post that has somebody celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination? You're done. You will no longer be allowed to enter America. Well, due process. No, they're not here. See, the left, what you don't realize right now is that you have given and you have armed America. You have weaponized America. We now are going to use the tools to get these people away from us. So if you're a foreigner, you're not even supposed to be here. Don't bother applying. We don't want you. You're done. And that's how it should be. And I love the fact that Marco didn't waste any time. This was at 9:57 this morning. And at 9:57 this morning, they're like, you can't come here anymore. Anybody got a problem with that? No, good. Didn't think so. In addition, down here, my governor, my man, Ron DeSantis has said they have just released a statement confirming that any teacher who celebrates what happened to Charlie Kirk will be held accountable. Every state in America needs to follow suit, get these deranged people away from our kids. And what this one says is upholding professional conduct and ethical responsibilities. It has been brought to my attention that some Florida educators have posted despicable comments on social media regarding the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk. These are not a reflection of the great high-quality teachers who make up the vast majority of Florida's educators. Nevertheless, I will be conducting an investigation of every educator who engages in this vile, sanctionable behavior. This memorandum serves to remind superintendents and their employees that they are held to a higher standard as public servants. And he goes through and he cites the different statutes. So at this point, FA, you're going to find out. Florida, you can't teach here if this is what you're going to do. And also understand, because in the back of your mind, you're probably already trying to think, well, how's that going to stand? They're going to sue. Yes, expose these people. Expose these people who are going to fight against being, censured or held accountable because you're celebrating someone's assassination. I want to see somebody going to court with that. Let us see some more of that stuff, because that's just absolutely incredible. Also, a little breaking news here. Thanks, SV. The South Carolina Supreme Court has just reversed a judge's ruling that previously had blocked Trump's DOJ from accessing the state's voter rolls. Assistant AG Harmeet Dilling is working hard to rid states of ineligible and illegal voters. Keep pushing. That's why they're acting the way they are. Trump is going after the hive of the liberals, and he's striking at that. And Charlie Kirk is out there talking to impressionable young minds and changing their minds as to look at what's going on here and do something about it. And they can't take it. All right, so let's continue.
I'd also be remiss
if I did not acknowledge why that flag is at half-staff. We lost an incredible American today, a dear friend of mine. If you knew him, you love him. His name is Charlie Kirk. Taken by an assassin's bullet, unfathomable. The only assurance I can take is that I know he is with his Lord and Savior right now. He has heard the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant," as I know many of you will hear. And I didn't quite know what to do after that news with the rest of the day, but I know what felt fitting was to definitely come here and be with all of you. Not media, not anything. Just you don't do this for media. You don't do this for recognition. You do this because you love your countries and your communities in quiet ways that a lot of people don't understand. And so being here with you, with people who give so much, who put their lives at risk, and their families know it, is exactly where I should be and where we should all be. So if you would, bow your head with me and join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Lord Jesus, be with Charlie, his family, his kids, his community, and this country. Welcome him into your arms. Comfort them when we don't understand your plan. We know your will be done. We don't always know what that means, but we know it is in your hands. And I ask that you watch over all these men and women here who put their lives on the line. Protect them tonight, tomorrow night, next week, and the months ahead. Lord God, protect them. And we put them under your shield of protection. It is in your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen. The life, example, and even death of Christ follower and American patriot Charlie Kirk give me hope. Sheer courage, no matter the arena. Charlie, we love you. We know that you have heard the Lord's words. Well done, good and faithful servant. Full heart, clear eyes. Like those on 9/11, he will never be forgotten. So I thank God for all of you and all of our fighters from that day to today and beyond. May God bless our warriors as they ruthlessly seek our enemies on behalf of the fellow citizens they love. We owe you and all of those who witnessed 9/11 nothing less.
I left the set that President Trump actually called in, and I figured I'd take that call. Happy anniversary. Happy 30 years. He loves what we do. Really? Loves what we do every morning. Said, make sure you tell Becky and Andrew that he loes what.
What about me? He doesn't want to wish me happy.
He did mention Bob Kraft, and thought that was a great interview. He's devastated about Charlie Kirk, and said that what a guy, what a great individual, and he said he helped him greatly in the last election, and thinks that Charlie Kirk could have been president someday. He was such a talented guy. Then he went on to say the country will heal. He's focused on what he has been focused on, and he says, I'm focused on winning. If the country wins, and if I do everything I can to help the country win, that we're all going to be able to come together again. So that was his message.
Charlie Kirk is being remembered tonight as a hugely influential, charismatic, and engaging individual.
I'm going to come back to that, but I want to show you this.
Thought of her at least 20 times a day.
One widow said 24 years seems like 24 minutes. The victim's name said proudly, with emotion and love. Grandchildren spoke of grandparents they never knew.
Stories passed down taught us that you were brave, brilliant, and an endlessly devoted family man.
To civil discourse and the open exchange of ideas. Correspondent Mark Meredith looks back at the life of Charlie Kirk. Good evening, Mark.
Brett, good evening to you. Charlie Kirk's death is being called a watershed moment or even a turning point for the country. The 31-year-old political activist had a massive following, both online and in the corridors of power here in Washington. Before becoming a household name in conservative politics, Charlie Kirk was a teenager growing up in the Chicago suburbs. He told the Daily Caller in 2019 he knew early on politics mattered.
I was always naturally conservative, loved America, loved the values that our country stood for, and I never understood why you'd want to deviate from that.
Kirk thought he'd end up at West Point, the Army's military academy, but after being denied admission, he chose to start something for himself.
It's that old adage, one door closes, another door opens. Of course, it's correct.
In summer 2012, Turning Point USA was born. What started small later became a political juggernaut, a conservative youth activist organization now operating on 3,500 high school and college campuses. Kirk explained what drove him in his first Fox appearance 13 years ago.
A lot of kids are feeling the effects of what we like to call, with the Washington economy, with a lot of debt, plummeting small business, with higher regulation and high taxes.
As the Tea Party movement evolved, Turning Point USA grew. So did its influence. The AP writing Turning Point events became more ornate, taking on a nightclub atmosphere with strobe lights, pyrotechnics, and thousands of young conservatives in attendance. Kirk endorsed then-candidate Donald Trump in 2016 and later worked to re-elect him in 2020.
I believe it's imperative we get the president reelected. In fact, I think he's going to get reelected.
As Trump later regrouped for 2024, Kirk continued to build an empire and a family. He married his wife, Erica, in 2021 and later became a dad of two. Trump himself thanked Kirk for staying loyal amid a year of chaos.
And I want to express my tremendous gratitude to Charlie Kirk. He's really an amazing guy.
With Trump now back in power, Kirk remained active, speaking out constantly about the conservative movement.
There's a revival happening in this country right now.
Tonight, tributes continue to pour in for a man many believe helped change the course of U.S. political history.
Okay. All right. So while we're waiting for any additional news, what I'm going to show you next, go ahead and reach for the hankies. Reach for the tissues now, because this one is going to be hard for you to watch. But I cut it because I'm like, it's so amazing what he says here. If you haven't seen it, and probably most of you haven't because it was early this morning, but I want to play you something that Glenn Beck opened his show with. And it's so eloquent, so on point. I'm like, I wish I could do something like that. I wish I could talk like that. This guy, I don't know if it took him 12 hours to come up with his idea and his bullet points, but it is so compelling. And it was obviously very hard for him to get through it. So I'm going to give you a second so you can get your tissues ready, because it's about 6 minutes and it's an absolute heart-wrenching soliloquy that he goes on here. And I love how, I showed you the quote earlier, and so listen for it when you hear the quote. That quote that I mentioned to you earlier was this quote here. The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule begins. Listen for that as you hear Glenn talking, because I think it is going to be something. You'll hear how he ties that into his speech here, and it's very, 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 I felt anyway, it's very compelling. This is Glenn Beck from this morning.
I've only felt this way one time before. I just signed a contract with Premier Radio Networks, and my show was to begin on January 1st, 2002. And then tragedy struck the World Trade Center. And I was called and told, "You start tomorrow." I spent most of the day and the night by my bedside, praying for the words to share with you on that day. I spent most of the day yesterday in that same position. I pray that the words that I need to speak to you today come from Him and that you hear them. It is September 11th, 2025. The assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's only appropriate that we start with a sponsor today, that is Tunnel to Towers. It's a tough day for America for a lot of reasons. Today's the day that should remind us of the bravery and the sacrifice and the lives lost on that tragic morning in 2001. Firefighters, police officers, and other heroes that ran toward the danger and not away from it. Those were the heroes. Stephen Siller, he was a New York firefighter who strapped on his gear and ran through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel to the towers. He gave his life trying to save others. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation was created in his honor. Today, they continue to serve America's heroes by paying off mortgages for the families of the fallen first responders and military members and all those catastrophically injured in the line of duty. And their mission is simple: honor the sacrifice. Never forget. On this day of all days, never forget. Take a moment, perhaps, to give back to those who have given everything. Support Tunnel to Towers and help them carry the legacy forward. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. There are moments when words from another age suddenly feel as though they were written for this moment. In 1947, a Welsh poet, Dylan Thomas, was watching his father slip toward death, and he penned the lines of a famous poem, "Do not go gentle into that good night." Rage. Rage against the dying of the light. What he was doing, he was pleading for his father to fight against the darkness of death. But in those words that he scratched down and scribbled down on paper for his dying father has become a mandate for all of us. Do not go quietly when truth is on the line. Do not surrender. Do not surrender to the shadows. Even when, and especially if, you think the battle can no longer be won. Charlie Kirk lived that mandate. He knew the cost of speaking unpopular truths. He knew the fury of those who wanted him silenced. But Charlie pressed on. In his short life, he embodied that defiance. It's the kind of righteous defiance that has always marked those who refuse to bow to the idols of our age. If you think about it, Washington, Jefferson, Adams, they raged against the certainty of an empire. They knew the gallows awaited them. Lincoln raged against the idea that one man could own another. He knew the fate that lay before him. Martin Luther King Jr. raged against the dying of the light in segregated America. Every single generation is called to resist the temptation to go quietly into the good night. It's just our turn. Charlie's death, violent and unjust and shocking, feels, in some ways, almost like a knockout punch. Feels just another body blow in a season that is already heavy with grief. But I am here to tell you, if his life meant anything, it's this. Silence in the face of darkness is not an option. He did not go gently. He stood, he spoke, he challenged, he knew, as Dylan Thomas wrote, that even the wise men and the good men must resist the dying of the light, because surrender only hastens the darkness. And now, today, that mantle falls to us, to me, to you, to every single person alive today that hears my voice. If Charlie's life and death means anything, they mean this. You and I cannot drift into the shadows. We cannot sit quietly while freedom fades. This is our moment to rage, but rage not with hatred, not with anger, but with courage. Rage not in violence, but in truth-telling. Rage against the lies, against the apathy, against the hopelessness that says, there is nothing you can do, sit down. Because there is something you can do. There is always something you can do. Even small acts of defiance. Faith, acts of love, finding those who mourn today and comforting them. The most defiant act in an age when the world throws hate around like it could be purchased in any dime store or 7-Eleven is an act of kindness. When you offer nothing but love, kindness, and the unrelenting truth. Those are the flames in the night. Those are the flames that hold back the darkness. My friend Charlie Kirk carried that torch. He was forced to lay it down yesterday. And it is ours to pick up. The night is here, yes. The light is dimming, yes. But it always does before the dawn. Commit to yourself today, because I will not sleep. I will not retreat. I will not give them what they want, be it be silent or an act of vengeance. I know who I am. I know who I serve, as did Charlie. I have no king but Christ. So today, let the words of the poet call to you just as they called to Charlie. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage. Rage against the dying of the light.
Okay, so how many of y'all ready for that? You see, that's what we're talking about. In your darkest of hours, the pain that you're feeling, commit, as Glenn said, commit. Do something. And make sure that your rage doesn't lead you to two alternate views here. Meaning, hold on a second.
Sorrow here at the White House. In remarks that were posted online from the Oval Office last night, President Trump singled out what he called radical leftists for the culture of division that fuels political violence. And he vowed his administration will find every single person and entity that contributes to it.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others.
The president asked Americans to commit themselves to the values that Charlie Kirk lived by, including the rule of law. Kirk's last message to the world was about the murder of Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska in Charlotte, North Carolina, pushing to examine the policies of local Democratic officials whose decisions led to her killer roaming the streets with a lengthy rap sheet. He said, quote, "If we want things to change, it's 100% necessary to politicize the senseless murder of Irina Zarutska because it was politics that allowed a savage monster with 14 priors to be free on the streets to kill her." President Trump.
Exactly. So he said it as well. Commit. And without going to the extreme, those two extremes, do not commit to silence and do not commit to vengeance, but everything in between, run, go, do it. So, get out there, spread the word. Do not go quietly. Rage. And it almost like a controlled rage, meaning let your rage fuel you to do what we need to do in this fight. Don't surrender and don't go crazy. In between there's a whole lot for us to do together and individually. So much. Because here's what I truly believe after spending, 8 hours going through X, is that either the Democrats are truly insane, truly possessed, or they are so deeply entrenched to an ideology that they can't even control anymore, meaning there's someone else is pulling their strings because they found themselves in a bear trap today, and instead of trying to extricate themselves, they just made it worse. And the problem that they're having is, which I had prayed for myself, was that it would reach a lot of people who are not over the edge yet. People who are like, this doesn't feel right. And I think what you're going to see happen, and many people have been saying it, I think this is going to spawn 1 million+ Charlie Kirks. I think there were some people on the fringe who were like, I don't like Trump, and that's it, I'm done. You people are crazy. And I think I got something to show you for that as well.
So to all the young people out there, as well as those of you who consider yourselves young at heart, I want you to stay angry. I want you to stay frustrated.
Did he put out a 4-minute?
So understand, you know who that was, and I'm going to show you what these people have been saying. That part was a while ago, but it's indicative of where the left is right now. They tried to get people up into a frenzy, and now they've put people into a frenzy, and other people are noticing it. Here's just a few clips of the insanity on display.
video, and I'm not going to play the video. I don't want to play the video, but there was a line at the end that I think I just wanted to raise and read. At the end of this 4-minute video, he says, "For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now." And obviously, there's a lot of rhetoric that is problematic. A lot of it is coming from one particular side and from one particular building. But what can be done? I fear when this is an escalation already in less than 24 hours of this shooting.
Yeah.
She took what President Trump said, and she's accusing him of escalating. She, out of her own mouth, many times called Nazis and fascists and racists. Their entire network has done nothing but inflame and incinerate everything good. And now she's worried that he's blaming it on us. You know, all the stuff's coming from him.
I think historically presidents have looked for opportunities to bring people together. You know, right now we need a president that'll bring the country together and not try to further, divide us.
And as Tony mentioned, not everyone took.
Now, that's bad enough. This guy who I'm about to show you is on CBS, but here's where something you can do right away. He's also with the NFL Network. He does a lot of the games. At this point, you need to pick up the phone and put this guy's name and hit the NFL. Do @NFL, @Roger Goodell, and say, get this asshole, excuse my language, off of the NFL. Make him be canceled. It is working. Already, the Carolina Panthers want somebody who was in their PR department said something stupid, and he got canned this morning. Somebody who's a school teacher, she said something stupid. She got canned this morning. This is how we win. Let them know we're not going to take it anymore. It is not okay anymore to say stupid stuff like this. Listen to this.
His words or his rhetoric, at times they were offensive to specific communities. But with that said, this is not the time to focus on that. We are focused on this tragedy. Speaking of this tragedy, is this a moment for your party to reflect on political violence? Is it?
If it wasn't something you wanted to talk about, why'd you bring it up? And now you're saying, he's talking to Kevin McCarthy, obviously a Republican. Is it now time for you guys to fess up and say you screwed up? Charlie Kirk isn't even in the ground yet, and they can't stop themselves. You guys need to get this guy off the air. Do it.
A moment for us to think about the responsibility of our political leaders and their voices and what it does to the masses as they get lost in misinformation or disinformation that turns in and spills into political violence.
I say both parties. I don't even say parties. I say a nation. Okay. And if there's a moment in time we want to look to, and I looked back and I watched this again when Robert F. Kennedy is running, and he's in Indianapolis, and he just got the news that Martin Luther King was killed. And he has to tell the crowd, because we don't have social media at that time. And it was remarkable the words he said. He said, we have to ask as a nation, who are we? And how do we want to move forward? We have watched this political attack on both sides. We watched what happened in Minnesota. We watched what happened to President Trump. We've watched this on both sides. This is not a question about parties. This is a question about nations. We cannot normalize this, but Charlie was not elected. Charlie was not doing something where you would sit there and one party say something wrong. He was honoring. He was doing it on a college where ideas. This is what happened in the 60s. This is a moment in time for this nation to take this time to actually make a question about all of us.
We don't want to go back to the 60s.
We don't.
That was a more violent period than people recall. We could talk about the 60s.
Has to stop.
Go after this guy. So SV and Ashley both sent me a story that's kind of disturbing. But I don't think this has anything really to do with Charlie Kirk. Remember, after everything that was happening yesterday, I let you guys know there's something wrong. Remember, President Trump went to the restaurant in Washington, D.C., and then the Code Pink Crazy Nuts came marching into the restaurant? And they were literally 10 feet away from the president? I'm like, how the hell can that be? How could we have let these people get this close? Well, breaking. Tonight, as you know, to commemorate September 11th, President Trump is going to New York tonight to go to the Yankees game. It says the U.S. Secret Service is tightening President Trump's security following the killing of Charlie Kirk. It should also say following the breach at the restaurant. Good. Spare no expense or resource protecting our president. He's the left's top target. In response to Trump's trip to tonight's Yankees game, Secret Service said individuals in and around the Yankee Stadium can expect to see increased law enforcement presence. These increased measures should be permanent for wherever President Trump goes. We can't take any chances. Absolutely. Got to keep it going. Got to protect the president and Melania and the First Family. Absolutely. Now, if you think that was bad enough, here's the one where I was telling you about that on CNN. They realize they're losing a grip right now. And Dan Goldman, the scumbag that he is, starts calling out podcasters.
That's certainly not the message we're hearing from some in the sort of far right, podcasting sphere who make money off this, but off this kind of rhetoric.
Excuse me, Anderson, F you. He just said that podcasters make money off this rhetoric. You're on CNN. Do you ever see your commercials, which I hope get blipped away? You're in the media. I'm in the media. Benny's in the media. Patrick Bet-David's in the media. Joe Rogan's in the media. We have advertisers just like you. And you try to diminish us because we're kicking your ass in the ratings. Oh, they're out there making money on this. I ain't looking to make money off of Charlie Cook's death. This is what we do reporting the news. Remember when you used to report the news? How dare you? How dare... Because if you watch the end of this clip, I bet you goes, okay, we'll be right back in a second. And they're going to cut to a commercial. Well, he just says it's bad for people to be making money. You asshat.
I mean, they're talking about war. That there's a war targeting conservatives.
Yeah. Look, it's that is incredibly dangerous. I am really, really disappointed. And
you're really disappointed. After years, not weeks, years of calling us racist, homophobic, gemophobic, disophobic, exophobic, whatever you want to call us, Nazis, Hitlerian, deplorables. It's really bad. I'm really disappointed. Since when? Since when you realize we're coming for you? Since when we do realize and understand we're in a war? Now you're worried? Now you're disappointed? You know where you can stick that.
And what I would urge, I would really urge the President of the United States to speak out against that. I don't view this as an issue of the right or the left. I think we've seen political violence, on both sides of the spectrum.
Both sides crap ain't gonna work anymore. Nah, nope, not. Because now we can pinpoint to just basically a trend. A lone wolf, like you like to say. Sometimes you can't really tell that. But now we're starting to see a trend emerge. And that trend is based upon stuff that you guys did and then you guys promulgated. You guys want to make sure that you rammed a certain thing down our throat 24/7. In addition to calling us Hitler, racist, and homophobes, and everything else. Now you're saying, in addition to you guys being all this, now you got to accept this. Nope, you just can't accept it. Now you have to embrace it. Nope, you just can't embrace it. We got to change your language so that you can't even talk about it. But now you want to change.
And it's not that one is worse than the other. Obviously, the efforts to assassinate the president were horrific and were absolutely unacceptable, should have been unacceptable. But we can't get in a tit for tat here where we're just going one after the other because our system will completely break down. This is already...
I can't knock the camera, but I was like, knock. It's already broken down. You destroyed it. You cheated. a couple times. You got fake judges doing all kinds of crazy rulings, and now you're like, we got to preserve the system. To hell with your system. Take your system and shove it up your rectum there. We don't care anymore. It's done. Enough is enough. You can't backtrack. Too late. We sat back for years and we watched these judges and go, what in the hell are you people doing? Even the most recent one that said Lisa Cook, she gets to keep her job even though she's been fired because the judge there couldn't see that mortgage fraud was for cause until it gets to the next level. And then, of course, it'll get thrown out and she'll be out on her ass. But in the meantime, you try to take every single thing that America holds dear and rip it to shreds. What would be better, and would get me being, behind you, is if you came out on Anderson Cooper's show and said, you know what, I was wrong. They're not Nazis. They're not fascists. They're not homophobes, deploraphobes, and abobophobes, whatever. I was wrong. They are Americans. We just happen to disagree politically. Then we can go Charlie Kirk. Then we can have a discussion. But until you pull down all of those disclaimers that even today some of your people are saying, your words mean nothing. Because you still feel that way about us. You just can't say it anymore. Or right now. The next couple of days, you'll be right back to saying it. I have clips of you actually saying it. So spare me, every single Democrat, until you come out and say, I was wrong, you're not this, 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 and this. But we're never going to hear that because they can't.
A breakdown of our democracy. I think Congressman Kinzinger said it right. But our entire system of government will break down, and you will have certainly nobody who wants to do this job. It's already ill-advised for many, given the vitriol, the discourse that you see. But when violence gets involved, then it's just a totally different animal. And
did he say this on July 14th? The day after? Nope. Did he say it after the poor girl got her head cut off, basically, in Charlotte? Nope. What are you talking about? You've been silent. You've been encouraging these nuts. Here's a good idea. One question to him, Anderson. Just one question. Dan, I understand here you're worried about how things could disintegrate. Are you realizing right now and going to take the stance that men can't become women? Are you going to take the stance that this country has a border that has to be upheld? Are you going to take the stance that men can't play women's sports? Then shut up. Just shut up.
I hope these far-right podcasters come to their senses and recognize that this is not war.
If I wasn't a Christian, there'd be up. Just shut up.
I hope these far-right podcasters come to their senses and recognize that this is not war. If
I wasn't a Christian, there'd
have to come back and remember that we are all Americans in the greatest country on earth, and that we may disagree on how we move forward, but we all want our country to move forward.
The trail. All right, so I don't know. Again, I'm in South Florida and I have weather, but it looks like we're strong again. Hold on, sorry. Nothing I can do about that with the weather down here. We didn't lose power or anything, but once in a while, if something happens, it buffers. So sorry, it's not on television. Or either that, or maybe CNN called over to YouTube and said, can you turn him off? Can you please tell him to shut up? Nope. Nothing I can do about that. All right, so let me continue and try to muscle through this. CNN... After that, they find out about the writing on the actual, weapon, and this is what they have to say.
I wouldn't say it's getting cold, and certainly those breakthroughs overnight have really ramped up, have really pushed this investigation forward. Yesterday, it did not feel like they had a lot to go on. Today, as they say, key breakthroughs, but the manhunt continues.
Well, look, the bottom line is this is a time that all Americans should come together and feel and mourn what happened. Violence which affects so many different people of so many different political persuasions, is an affliction of America. And coming together is what we ought to be doing, not pointing.
You're kidding, right? Oh man, I think they've taken the polling and they're like, oh, we're in trouble here, aren't we? Oh, you're in real trouble. You're in real trouble. You don't realize it. Maybe you do, but you guys are in deep, deep, deep trouble, and it ain't going to get any better for you.
Fingers of blame.
This moment requires leadership that brings the American people together as opposed to trying to further divide us. Political violence in any form against any American is unacceptable, should be denounced by everyone, and moving forward, we have to figure out a better way to come together, not as Democrats.
It's easy. Follow the Constitution. Stop telling people what they can and can't think. Stop trying to ram down your alternative lifestyle down our throats. Stop calling us names. Can I keep going? Enforce the border. Yeah, can we keep going? Take communists out of New York City. It's pretty easy. It's a real easy recipe. You just can't, do I dream a genie and blink it into existence. You have to actually change. And these people are stuck because they can't change.
Or Republicans, but as Americans.
They absolutely know that they can't change. That's the problem. You've taken money from all these groups. You've been talking to people a certain way, and you can't pivot away from it because you look like a complete fraud. You either are or you aren't. And if you tell the people who have been supporting you that at this point, we're going to make sure all these things that are in the Constitution stay that way, they're going to lose it. They are completely stuck. They're never getting us back. That ain't ever going to happen. All they can do is lose whatever they have. And I think that's what they're starting to find out. It's like, nah, this ain't right, man. This is finally over the edge. Mark Levin had some stuff to say about it. Ooh, he got hot.
You piece of shit that killed him. Let me tell you something. You're going to get caught. You heard the governor of Utah. You heard him tell you that they have capital punishment, and you need to be put to death. And they need to find this guy who killed this young man, who assassinated Charlie Kirk in front of 3,000 college students. And I'm not kidding. This is an attack on our republic. People say this needs to end now. This needs to end now. Well, the only way to end it is to make an example. And enough is enough with life terms. Enough is enough with all the rest of it. This guy needs to pay the price, and the whole country needs to see it.
You see, one of the things, the problems that they're having, and it's a huge, huge problem, is that it was televised. Well, not televised, but so many people saw the video. There's no denying what happened. It was a good time out on a college campus, and this guy wasn't armed, wasn't doing anything wrong. He's not even in office, and it was a pure assassination. So they were already starting to slide with the young people. And as many people as you see on TikTok now, you're starting to see their core group starting to splinter. Because many young people are like, nope, done with you. Listen to this.
I, not 10 minutes ago, found out some information about the shooting of Charlie Kirk at an event out in Utah. I'm not here to talk about the shooter's political affiliation. What I am here to talk about is the absolute disgusting, foul, vile things that the left is posting and saying online right now, when we don't even know the status of the man. Like, we don't even know if Charlie Kirk is alive, if he's clinging to life. We don't know the status of him. And the left has the audacity to get on these phones, on these screens, and cheer or do a trending, fun little song to the fact that this happened. I'm talking, it hasn't even been I can't even say hours yet. And the left is so evil and demonic. I don't care who you vote for. But if you support the things and the narratives that these Democrats are bestowing upon y'all's party, because this isn't what the Democratic Party used to be. I don't care. This isn't what it used to be. And this is what it's become. And if you stand by that, there's no room for you at my table.
Well, see, this is one of the problems they're having right now, is that younger people are looking at this and going, I want no parts of this. And it doesn't take a whole lot. Just like when this whole thing began and people were looking at the polls, and I was saying it back before he got shot, they can't win. And people are like, Barry, how can you be so positive? Because I knew what the black vote was. I knew that Obama and all the other Democrats were getting 80 and 90 and 95% of the black vote. And I realized, and I saw the numbers, I'm like, if he's getting 60, 25, 30%, they can't make that up. And nobody wanted to talk about it because I guess they felt it was racist or whatever. But I kept saying, if this was what the margin was, 4 or 5, but now they've lost 15% of the black vote, mathematically that can't be made up. This is what's happening now. They've already lost mathematically the black vote. They mathematically, in terms of what you need to keep your ratio, you're losing it with the Hispanics, and now look what's happening with the young kids. We don't need to win over all the college kids. We just need to get, enough, where another 3 or 4 points, which I think is viable based on what's happening. So I'm going to tell you what to do in a second.
Just say it now. In 3 years, I am not voting for Democrats. Fuck off.
Now, that may have sounded really bad, but the emphasis that she put forth, I wanted you to hear. Now, I want you to listen to this young woman. This is going to speak volumes to you, or at least it should.
Very aware that when you look at me, you see the hair and the nose ring, you probably think I'm a huge liberal. I love living in America. I love this country. I am a die-hard centrist. I have a lot of liberal views and I have a lot of conservative views, but most of the time I'm able to see the gray in areas and come to a critically thought out conclusion about the right and wrong. The amount of people I've had to unfriend or unfollow because they're cheering and happy about what happened today is very disheartening. And if you're following me on here and you're upset that I'm not cheering and woohoo, please unfollow me. I'm sorry if you followed me because of the way I looked. We live in a country where I can look the way I want to look and I can have the opinions I want to have and say the things I want to have because of where we live. And this is an attack on freedom of speech, no matter how you look at it, whether you like Charlie, you didn't like Charlie. I only believe in the death penalty for murderers and child abusers, not somebody who's debating people and giving people different opinions platform, whether he agrees with them or disagrees. He's giving everybody chances to talk. This is disgusting. A lot of people are acting really gross about this, and I feel horrible for his family. It's honestly just kind of scary to he was so young and he was just on a college campus.
So, now you know what you have to do. You see, it's easy listening to me. It's easy listening to Benny and Tim Pool and all the right-wing podcasters. But now, people are like, Barry, what do we do? That's who you reach out to. These people are confused. They don't like what they saw. Give them the opportunity to understand this tent can grow, and you're not going to see that kind of insanity if you listen to what Charlie had to say or what you have to say. They're looking, they're scrolling, and they're seeing this insanity. People are cheering because somebody is dead. You have right now before you one of the easiest things you can possibly do. You have a conversation starter, number one, and number two, you can just read or see what they're saying and go, that person would like to have somebody talk to them. and maybe I can share some ideas with them and talk to them civilly, because they're not getting it from other people. You know, the pink-haired, sherbet-haired woman there, and she's having to unfollow people because they are attacking her. Imagine all of a sudden, hi, sherbet hair, don't worry about that. You know, is there anything I can help you understand about what Trump is all about? And if she says, go get bent, you get bent. But you're going to come into this person's feed much differently than the other people are. And it's going to, wait a second, you people don't have horns and 6 eyes? Nope, we're just normal people. I heard what you had to say in that video. Let's talk. It is horrible. It is very horrible. And just try to reach out. This is your opportunity. The door is wide open. I mean, I haven't seen the door this wide open in quite some time. Don't let this opportunity go away. This is the time where, again, if you believe and you want to be, if everybody here wants to be, I am Charlie Kirk. Now's your Charlie Kirk moment. Stand up and prove it. Go on a campus without having to go on a campus and talk to somebody. You got the X campus. It's very easy. It's very safe. You can bail out, block the person, and never hear from them again. But at least you can try. And I want to show you this because there are people, huge people, on social media who are not someone you'd ever think you'd want to go sit down and have a cup of coffee with, who are saying, hey, this was bad. I'm like, really? This is Jeffree Star. You guys know who Jeffree Star is? I bet you 99% of you don't. He's out there. He's got fingernails and the paint. Let's just listen to what Jeffree Star has to say. I'm trying to show you guys something.
Charlie Kirk was just shot and is now passed away while he was debating at the Utah Valley College. And this happened while we've been streaming. I'm literally been editing a video. I'm about to upload it right now. And I'm literally stunned. Like, what is going on, dude? For speaking the truth, that's what happened? Are you?
Some of you guys are watching this, and ladies, I'm like, what is that? Someone we would never have thought to talk to. I wouldn't have thought. Just by the appearance, I'd have been like, wow, he's got like 90 million followers or whatever it is. He's huge. Absolutely huge on social media. Nothing I would have ever watched, but I looked into him like, oh my God, this guy's huge. And he's talking with his fake nails and his pink hair, and I'm like, all right, I got to do Charlie Kirk, huh? Yeah, I got to reach out to him? Yeah. Hey, Ashley, you want to see if he wants to come on the show? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to walk the walk, this is what God is doing. God's saying, see, looky here. And some of you, like, the guy's name I saw it's Jeffree Star is his name. Makes millions with his cosmetic lines. Excuse me. But that's now who we need to sincerely reach out to. Don't be a car salesman. And if it scares you, you need to think internally. This guy looks like he represents everything I'm against. Everything he stands for, I'm against. But it sounds like he stands for America. We know he's a capitalist. He's making millions. Yeah, he dresses funny and he's got fingernails and I don't know what he does at night. But can we start with commonality? I mean, you are watching a black guy. And we got to start finding that niche to get in. Hey, let's start talking to these people. Because as he said, don't get in here if you're going to start giving me a hard time. Get out. Which tells you he's being attacked. These were people yesterday. Oh, Jeffree! Oh, Jeffree! Oh, you're sticking up for Charlie Kirk? Oh, go away. Think what's going through these people's minds right now. Like, wait a second. Wait a minute. You're telling me my team has cast me aside just because I think differently. There you go. There you go, Jeffrey. As long as you wore fingernails and pink hair, they loved you. Now that you stood up for Charlie Kirk, it's like, nah. You're a zombie. That's where you commit. I know some of you guys right now are feeling uncomfortable, but now this is when you read your Bible and realize what Jesus did, because now it's on you. It's on me. It's uncomfortable, but you're ready to proselytize? You're ready to get out there? Prove it. Doesn't cost you a dime. The door is wide open. I talked to Robin this morning, and I said, I would never have imagined that Charlie Kirk passing would allow so many people to have an opening. We all know he talked to college kids. We all know he debated people. But would you have thought that this would be your opportunity to get some of these people to, you may never, don't try to change their sexuality. Don't try to change his nails or his hair. Find the common ground. And if you're saying you have nothing in common, then you didn't listen to what he said. You have something in common. Start there. Hey, listen, I'm not going to attack you. Thank you for saying the kind words about Charlie. By the way, and just, I don't know how else to say it. And if there's people in here who are turning their nose, oh no, he's got pink hair and nails. I couldn't possibly. Then you're the type of people that they're talking about. Prove it. Prove it that you're MAGA. There's nothing in the MAGA agenda that says other people who don't look like you can't come in. They're the ones who say, I want to be around people who look like me. President Trump never said, make sure you find out MAGA people who look like you. I couldn't be MAGA because I hope there ain't nobody else walking around this planet look like me. So I was accepted by 352,000 of you. And I'm grateful for that. But it had to start somewhere. I had to get this camera and the microphone and the lights and go, hey, anybody want to hear what I got to say? And sure enough, some people did. And some people didn't, but I don't worry about that part. This is what we need to do. Let me show you this too, because now there was a lot of stuff going around. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is Joe Rogan and Charlie Sheen, after they saw what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Should we bring this up? I guess we have to. So this just happened. We just found out that Charlie Kirk got shot.
It's fucking awful.
And is he dead?
No, I don't think so.
That's what was just.
One of the guys out there just said it was confirmed that he's dead.
In the lobby was just.
I've been looking. I haven't seen anything that said confirmed.
Whoa.
Murder for having a different opinion from somebody else.
Yeah.
Different ideology from somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Beliefs that didn't align.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Dead?
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Or in
Fuck.
Fox News.
Jesus. 27 years old, maybe? 30?
Do they even have a suspect?
I don't know. Well, that's why I'm literally trying to track it all on Twitter, and it's all.
Fuck. Nobody deserves it. He doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
Here's another guy. Until he became really popular with MAGA and MMA, people would never have thought Joe Rogan, could possibly be someone that Trump would talk to. Very wide range of opinions. Tattooed up the wazoo. Throws F-bombs all around. And he's like, did they really just shoot Charlie Kirk? You see, I don't think people realize how big your opportunity really is. That's why when I heard what Glenn said and I looked around and I'm like, man, time for being sad. It's there, but you're still here. And that's why I was talking about, whatever the darkest moment of your life has ever been. You may have said, I will never, ever get through this. And I know that you did because you're here. I know that I did because I'm here. Whatever it was. Whatever it was, when it happened, you're like, oh my God, I can't go on. This is horrible. And you cried and you didn't shave or didn't shower, and you were so upset, and you're like, what am I gonna do? I don't eat. And if I wasn't eating, you know it was real bad, okay? Because, damn, I likes my groceries. And I remember my mom saying to me, you gotta snap out of it. I can't, this is awful. And by the way, you stink, and you need a shave. But I love you. And I'm like, but I don't know what to do. I can't pick up from this. It's the worst thing I've ever felt. And so what I've done since then, I will tell you, and somebody listening may know what I'm saying. I now measure everything in my life against that point. And I go, oh, this sucks. It wasn't as bad as that. Nope, not even close. Oh, I can't believe this happened or that. Is it this bad? Nope, not that bad. I'm okay then. I swear, I do that to this day. Robin will tell you, get in a fight, something happens business-wise, and I will say, still not as bad as that. I'm okay. I survived that, and if I survived that, this don't mean anything. This means absolutely nothing. I've already, so far, experienced the worst thing in my life. And every single day since then has been nothing has gotten to that far. And then the thing that was the worst thing in my life no longer is a bad thing. And now, so I'm going through. I went through with wild horses, ran right through that shadow of the valley. I didn't stay there. Well, I stayed there for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, until I smelled myself. I'm like, man, you really stink. And I'm hungry. And I guess everything together went, all right, time to get back on the horse. And I did. And obviously, you're here, so you did. And I can say that with complete confidence. I don't care what's happened. Well, I should say I don't care. But whatever it was you went through that was the worst thing you've ever gone through, you went through it. You're here today. You're not back there. And if you're still going through it, allow us to pull you through it. It's like the big portal. I'm reaching through the screen right now saying, yeah, and pulling you through. Yesterday, a lot of us may need pulling through. And if I can be that person to say, Jim, Sheila, hold on, I'm pulling you through it. As we're nearing the end of this show, I want to be that person to tell you, after everything you've seen in the last 24 hours, and what may end up being even worse stuff that we hear if they ever do a press conference, you've gone through it. You're on the other side. And you may not have had anybody tell you that. Went, okay, yeah, that happened. It's horrible. I cried. I was worried. I didn't know what to say, what to think. I was desperate. I was disillusioned. But you're here. And so now it's up to you to go find other people who haven't come through. They're still on the other end of that portal that you got to reach through and say, all right, man, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. You've taken the first step by you jumped on this stagecoach called life, and you're on the other side. There was reports earlier that Ben Shapiro was not going to go on a college tour. I don't know if those were unpopular beliefs, but Ben said this.
I still have
wrong one. Hold on.
No idea what the right words are right now.
Now, it's still up to us. I saw a lot of rumors online today. I was made aware of this by my team that I canceled some sort of college tour. That's bullshit. I saw those rumors. They are false. I will be coming to college campuses, many of them this year. So will we all, I am sure. Because
all right, so I want to stop it there for a second because that's big. Not the fact that he's going on to college campuses, but that because people are trying to sow even more division. You see, they find, and I say they, your opponent finds this is their opportunity. Yeah, Ben's scared. He's not going to go out on a college tour. He knows what might happen to him. Oh, he knows better because, we might do it to him. And he comes out and goes, I've seen this stuff. It ain't true. I don't know what you're talking about.
Americans, and we're not going to be deterred. Charlie's voice is not silent. we're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it. And to those who would intimidate, who would seek to stop us, who would seek to end free discussion, who believe that they have ownership over public spaces and can violently threaten and kill people who speak freely, we are not going to stop. And I have 2 words. Fuck you. We will not stop telling the truth. We will never stop telling the truth. We will never stop debating and discussing. We will never stop standing up for what America is and for what she should be. And we will never let Charlie Kirk's voice die. Goodbye to my friend, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing for your family and for your country and for all of us.
So there's been a couple of videos today that have had some strong language, some expletives. If it bothers you, understand when you're in the trenches, when you're in the foxhole, you're seeing people at their core. And sometimes people at their core are going to speak how they feel because they're angry, but they're directing that anger. They understand that they are a walking, talking do weapon, directed energy weapon. And we're done. We've had it. It's over. We're coming back strong. And that's what you have to be. If you're in the chat going, oh my God, Barry, there's been so many, F-bombs. So, Charlie Kirk, he got killed. His wife, I'm pretty sure, woke up this morning and go, what the? Woke up. No, she didn't sleep. She probably didn't sleep. You did. Ashley just sent me, I think it was Ashley or SV, they both send me all kinds of stuff. Current Secret Service agent has been caught publicly stating that Charlie Kirk deserved to be killed. This guy needs to be sacked immediately. He cannot be trusted to actually protect President Trump. This is what he wrote. If you are mourning this guy, delete me. He spewed hate and racism on his show, especially when we should be mourning the innocent children from the high school killing. At the end of the day, you answer to God to speak things into existence. You can only circumvent karma. That's a guy protecting President Trump? That's a guy who is out there talking about President Trump. In fact, George put this up. This is an active Secret Service agent celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. He must be fired immediately. And then, let me pull this one up for you. The MAGA Confederates are at it again. Just in, Congressman Thomas Massie calls on President Trump to tone down the rhetoric after assassination of Charlie Kirk. There's a lot of rhetoric, and the president himself engages in it. He should probably tone that down himself. I'm not taking any prisoners. I'm not taking any prisoners. Sorry, Thomas. Kiss my rear end. Now I'll play Sage Steele, because now some conservatives are coalescing and realizing we got to do something.
Two, in my opinion, one of the greatest Americans ever. You can disagree with me on that, but I've said it for the last couple of years as I saw the difference Charlie Kirk was making in going around to college campuses to talk to the youth, to talk to the future of America, to have a conversation, which is what so many people are unwilling and are afraid to do. But Charlie wasn't. And he went around these college campuses and he let kids speak. Let them say what was on their mind, give their opinion, and then he gave his with facts as well. He did what so many people refuse to do. He is the reason why my kids decided they wanted to have an interest in politics and at least be educated. Most importantly, he was such a man of God. Charlie Kirk is one of the reasons that I'm no longer afraid to wear this. I didn't for such a long time, and he gave me the courage to do so. That's what he led with, his faith in God, his love for his wife, his love for his children, and that was his goal, to make this country a better place for his kids and yours and mine. I am heartbroken, I am devastated, and I am livid. What they want is for us to have fear and to go hide because of things like this. And maybe in some ways, I don't know, maybe we should. We have to do things differently, certainly. But Charlie knew the risk. Every day, he had security detail with him. And sometimes nothing can protect us from evil. I know this too, though. Charlie would not want us to go hide and to be quiet and to run away from the evil, from the people that hate us, who happen to be the same people who preach about diversity of thought and tolerance. And look, they kill him because they don't like his opinions. And they don't like the fact that he was winning. Charlie Kirk already won. It is our loss and the world's loss today. But man, God's plan for Charlie, look what he did in 31 short years. Thank you, Charlie Kirk, for everything, for giving up your life for us. And Erica, you have millions praying for you. I love you. We love you. And guess what? We're not going away. We're going to be here for Charlie.
Yes, we need to fight for Charlie. President Trump, in conjunction with September 11th, he posted this on X, on the White House thing, Patriot Day 2025. We vow that any enemy who spills American blood will face the full wrath of American justice. And above all, we recommit to honoring the memories, cherishing the legacies, and remembering the stories of our fallen heroes for all eternity. He signed a proclamation that now says forever September 11th will be called Patriots Day. Big move, big move. Lots of stuff happening. I'm still looking. They've pushed this press conference back, so I guess they're not having it because, as they say, rapid developments. Let's continue.
Look, folks, I'm not somebody that cries easily. I was sitting in this parking lot going home. I started crying a few months ago. Charlie Kirk was a really sweet person. I first met him back in 2016 at the RNC in Cleveland. He was so young. He had to be like 20-something years old then, so happy, so full of life. He had big plans. He was going to galvanize all the kids on campuses to vote Republican and wake them up to communism. And they killed him today with a high-powered rifle. Classic stuff. It's like crooks in Pennsylvania, running around the roof. Nobody's doing anything. And they shot him and killed him. And the left's celebrating it. And, you know, all the Democrats calling for violence. Just everything else is just sick filth. But, you know, Charlie Kirk really is a hero. And a family man and somebody that had a real vision. And the left and the globalists have really screwed up because, look, there's safety in numbers. And I was honest in videos I posted. I said, I don't do a bunch of public events. I don't go to colleges because I guarantee you, if I went out for a year, 10, 15 events, I'll get shot dead. And I'm not scared of dying, but I can digitally and cyber level, you know, really counter the globalist. And I remember telling people, I think I've even said it on air, I said, man, I'm surprised Charlie Kirk's not dead. Because the left can't deal with this. And he knew what he was doing. He put himself out there on the front lines. He got millions of votes. Millions of votes for Trump. And people that bitch and complain about Trump and say he's not getting the whole agenda done quick enough or whatever. He's getting so much done. It's amazing. It doesn't matter. It's about the team he brought forward and about the fact that we know Kamala Harris, the Democrats, are absolute criminal, pedophile enablers. And it's about the RFK Juniors, the Tulsi Gabbards, and the...
I want to stop there for a second. And he's absolutely right. When you see people saying he's not getting enough done faster, or Pam Bondi's not doing this, or Kash Patel's not doing that, if they weren't being effective, they wouldn't be trying to kill them. If you were sucky and you couldn't get anything done, they wouldn't be running to every judge they possibly can to try and stop and slow everything down. You have to think from that perspective. Why would you need to kill Charlie Kirk? Oh, because he's effective and getting the word out. Why would you want to kill Alex Jones? Oh, because too many people would show up at his event. Why did you try and take out President Trump? Because we can't stop him. And if you remember, throughout the entirety of the campaign, there was a line President Trump kept saying. They're after you. I'm just in the way. Well, he wasn't out there with Charlie yesterday in Utah. So Trump wasn't in front of him. So if he's not there, they're looking for their opportunities where they can get around Trump. We'll shut this guy up. We'll shut this woman up. We'll do this. We'll put this person in jail. We'll get them to stop the proclamations and the presidential orders. He's just in the way. They want you. And I don't mean they want to assassinate you. They just want to take away your way of life, which is like a mental assassination.
Charlie Kirk's. The left knew they couldn't attack Charlie Kirk frontally, so they kind of put out stories about this and that. He wasn't hardcore enough. He wasn't better enough. A lot of people picked it up. I just said, listen, he's getting people registered to vote Republican. And they're night and day to Democrats. They're not perfect. They're night and day. So he wasn't afraid to face evil. He wasn't afraid to put his life on the line. And I'm not the guy to act tough. Charlie Kirk had more courage than me. I've been honest about this on air. And I wouldn't even call it courage, because I'm willing to die. I do a lot of events and go out and get attacked. And I'm just saying, you go out on a regular basis and you're an Alex Jones or Charlie Kirk around the country for years, I mean, somebody's going to shoot at you. And I've had my security, other security firms just say, Jones, you shouldn't even do it when I do it. I have to do it when I have to, when there's a lockdown or some incredible border tyranny and they're smuggling kids and I went and confronted cartels, all that. Stop me. I mean, I'll do what I have to. But also understand, as a brain trust, I've got to kind of stay alive. And Charlie Kirk knew that, but he decided to, Christ-like, put it all on the line. And man, like watching that Ukrainian woman bleed to death and nobody help her. And then watching Charlie get hit by that high-powered rifle in the neck was such a blast wave, it makes his whole shirt go crazy, so I thought it was hitting the chest. I'm just like, damn, that's a man right there, man. That's a fucking man right there. He was smart. He knew it was coming. But he was so energetic and so positive, and we all say, this person won for Trump, that person won, Elon did it, I did it, Trump did it. Without all this team, we would have done it. Without Charlie Kirk, it wouldn't happen. And so the left's coming with their violence. They're coming with more attacks. And we can imagine the hell it'll be if we let them win and if we submit to them. So we're not scared of their attacks. And I guess the answer is we all have to go out. In fact, I'm going to announce I'm going to go into a nationwide tour at universities for Charlie. I think we can all do it. We have to take his example like Obi-Wan Kenobi in front of Darth Vader. And I was strategic about it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to do better over here. But you know what? That's a cop-out. Because if one guy will do it and get killed and intimidates us, they win. No, we all have to peacefully hit the streets. We all have to speak out at city councils, colleges. Everybody's got to be Charlie Kirk now, like with Spartacus. It's a true story, not just in the famous Charlie Kirk movie. The Romans are getting ready to crucify 10,000 plus people because they would tell him who Spartacus is. And they go, he finally steps forward and goes, I'm a Spartacus. And everybody else goes, no, I'm a Spartacus. We're all Charlie Kirk now. That's what it's all about. So I promise I'm doing it. And I know I've got to put it, I don't care. If I go out and some leftist guns me down on the thing, it's an honor. It'll just be a bigger example of people because you guys have summoned the whirlwind. And that's what it comes down to. Because they can shut down the internet and censor us all tomorrow, but they can't stop us in the streets. We love you, Charlie. We love your family. We're so proud of you. Think about these bastards. The corporate media covers everything up. They love it. They love death. They just scum. We're going to get them. We're going to save this country and the world together. Because people like Charlie Kirk's courage. We love you, Charlie. God bless you.
Yeah, I know. I saw that and I said, that's what my video is going to be about. We are all Charlie. In fact, you guys saw this was the thumbnail that I put up. And the thumbnail says, we are all Charlie. You can't see it from the comments there. We are all Charlie at this point. Here's why you have to be Charlie Kirk. And this may seem chilling to you, and I want you to really to remember this. If they're willing to kill you now while they're not in power, what do you think they'll do to you if they resume power? And if you really think of that and let that dwell in your mind, if they're willing to do this craziness now, what will they do if they don't need to kill you? Because if they are to resume power and they get the Supreme Court and they take over the Senate and the House, what do you think is going to happen with your way of life? You see, right now they shot one guy. And this mental dude did something on a train to another one person. And that guy, July 13th, was one man. If they get back in power, multiply that times millions. They will do everything they can to stop our way of life. So I'd rather start fighting now and getting you to start fighting now than waiting till November 5th and 2028 or November 6th, whenever the day after the election is, and go, oh shit, did they win? We're screwed. You don't want to wake up 3 years from now and go, oh my God, he won? And you got a role model. You have something to look at for the next couple years. Because if this idiot wins in New York City, just watch what happens. But hopefully you won't wait for that. Because we can't let that stuff take hold. We can't let your city turn into, little Somalia in Minnesota. You can't let that happen. You can't let your city turn into little communist. It's no longer the Big Apple, it's the Big Red. You can't let that happen. They count on it. You're not going to do anything. You're afraid. You're afraid to speak out. We got you. You want none of that Charlie Kirk stuff, do you? Well, you know what? If there's tens of millions of us, they can't take us all out. They can only try to silence the people who can be silenced. They can only take out the people who they think are going to stop the masses from understanding we're not going to take this. In the words of the movie Network, we're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. No, you can't do this. No, you can't tell me I have to live in the little thing there. And I can't own anything and eat some damn bugs. I don't want your damn pod. No, boys can't play women's sports. No, men can't be pregnant. No matter what you lop off and no matter what you attach, it's not the same. God didn't create, he didn't make no mistakes. You see, that's another, I don't want to go down that road right now, but that's basically what they're saying. Hey, I was in the wrong body. Really? You see what they're saying there? This is what the essence of American patriotism is all about. That is the true freedom. Yes, we hate taxes. We want to do away with that. Can you even imagine what they'll do to your taxes if they get back in power? So they're trying to kill the foot soldiers so that they can conquer the White House. Don't let them.
That it's somewhat object of mockery to say thoughts and prayers, but thoughts and prayers for his family. And they need it from all of us. And Jesse's right. If they could do this, they are capable of anything. I think that was the message. I believe that was the message. It's really hard to radicalize Republicans.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're not the radical type. But if you thought that you were going to shut a movement down, you're going to get a rude awakening. You woke us the fuck up.
Sorry for the F-bomb. I'm sorry, but yeah, he's right. He's absolutely right. This is what people are feeling. Nope, not going to take it anymore. Hope I didn't offend anybody. Hope you guys understand this is where I'm coming from. I want you to hear this.
Your name may not appear down here in this World's Hall of Fame. In fact, you may be so unknown that no one knows your name. The Oscars and the praise of men may never come your way, but don't forget God has rewards that he'll hand out someday. This crowd on earth, they will soon forget when you're not at the top. They'll cheer like mad until you fall, and then their praise will stop. Not God, he never does forget. And in his hall of fame, by just believing on his son, forever there's your name. I tell you, friend, I wouldn't trade my name, however small, that's written there beyond the stars in that celestial hall. For all the famous names on earth of the glory that they share, I'd rather be an unknown here than have my name up there.
Thank you very much, everybody. Very similar writing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was today at the 9/11 ceremony, but I think it carries a lot more meaning after what happened yesterday as well. So in closing here, I've got to do super chats, but I want you guys, let me do the super chats first and then I'll close out. Tough day, but I hope you guys actually get something from what I tried to tell you today. I didn't want to just come out with a baseball bat, and I had trouble trying to figure out what can I say to people today. And I asked Ashley and I asked Robin, and I actually was trying to come up with ideas that, you know, would get to what people were thinking and what I was thinking at the same time, because there's just so much that we're going through all at the same. And I just kept coming back to the same thing. Maybe it's my personality, but I was like, fight. If he stood up and went fight, 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 I would guarantee you Charlie would do the exact same thing. He would have said fight, fight, fight if he had survived it. And the other thing about that is, like, get ready here. Just know that there's so many fake things being said in the news. I mean, yesterday people were saying he's stabilized, he's okay, And then all of a sudden, bam, the bomb drops. Just crazy. All right, super chats. Wow, what's this? David Karanji. Oh my God, bro. Ugh. Thank you. Charlie Kirk was a great man. Met in New Jersey, where I'm from. I feel they couldn't debate him, so they had to kill him. He was a great one. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you. You get me through a lot of days, more than you know. You and your wife are great people. Keep doing what you do. God bless. Wow. Thank you, David. Thank you so very much. Just another knucklehead. Mods, can you help me out? Can you the Fanfare Shop URL and Barry's email? I can't find that on Rumble. I unsubscribed on X. Why you unsubscribed, bro? But the URL, hopefully the mod sent it to you, so you can do that. Nays, Barry, what if this is something that turns out to be bigger? Just think of all the MAGA people that will be at Charlie's service. I thought of that. I thought that there's something going on, and that, maybe it's cartel related. Maybe, because we don't know what's happening or what intelligence is behind the scene. But remember, they've just got a boat that they blew up with 11 people on it, and who knows what's going on? We don't. We don't know what's going on. Good point. Don Juan. Wow. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, brother. Clark Hamlin. 2 people just behind to the left of Charlie at the time of the shot looked to be giving hand signals. I saw that, and it could have been part of his team. They could have been signaling. They didn't. I mean, I don't know who they are, so I'm not going to try and convict somebody from it. Let's see here. Fazul, I love and miss you, brave souls. 9/11. Yes. Don Juan again. Thank you. Join your local militia. Go to the gun range. Stanton, so this is what we get for being the silent majority. God help us deal with this according to your will. Ephesians 6:12. Yeah, I put that up earlier as part of the title. Fazul, Congressman Dems boo moment of silence. They did that in England as well. I'm not sure if you saw that. Pure evil. The synthesizer grouch. Is that what we are seeing? Ritual sacrifice of a lamb. Didn't a certain people start sacrificing to Satan again? Go listen to Charlie by Tom McDaniel. He just wrote the song in less than 24 hours. I think you might hear that in a second here. Clayton Taylor. Tom McDonald dropped a song for Charlie. Okay. Tommy Ratcliffe. Charlie had faith in Christ very young. It was that faith that transformed him into a creature of God works. First living faith creates good workers. Thank you, Tommy. Gerald Costanza. Thank you. Whoa, CRO. Thank you for the Bibles. God bless, Charlie. We just got another shipment in. Thank you very, very much. Christ is indeed King. FL, prayers for Charlie's family, prayers for you, Barry, and everyone that continues to proclaim truth. Prayers for you, Barry, and your family. Thank you very much. I got my guard dog right here, right next to me. He's been sitting here. Arizona Guy 1, I refuse to be silent, and I will not live in fear. Please do not be silent. Katam Life, CK helped me find my faith again, Charlie Kirk, and solidified. He helped me confidently find who I want to be for my daughter. Wow, hunt for the good when you don't see. Be it. Vishu, I weep, I'm enraged. I weep some more over and over. I pray and start all over again. Good for you. Get through it. NJ Sound, Charlie Kirk was a great American patriot, indeed. Randall Young, this for Charlie's family. I'm pretty sure, I think one of Trump's guys just came out as well and said he's given like $50,000. Thank you very much from a Native American. Thank you, Barry. Charlie courageously did for us around the world. Yes. Susanna, 9/12, we were united. How long for that America? They knew that. They saw that. That had to be taken down. Marcia Canterbury, thank you, Barry, for all you do. Your message to go through brought tears to my eyes. Thank you. Yvonne Berger, warriors cry after war, not before. And they cry during. Dave Rattan, yes, this is a sad time. Mourn, but as we do, ask God how we can make a difference, as Charlie was doing. It's no longer time to sit on the sidelines and watch others influence people draw close to God. Hulkzilla Gaming. They don't realize what they just did. They are waking a sleeping giant. Rest in peace, Charlie. We are all Charlie. Do it. Eric Grant, you should play Lunatic Fringe. Never been more applicable than today. I'm putting a list together for the next. On Monday, we'll be going back to 2 shows. Everything should be in place by then. Tommy Irwin, I plead the second. Tania, Barry, yesterday I said I'm not wearing my MAGA shirt in public for being a target, but today I changed my mind. No fear in the name of Jesus. Exactly. Rick Williams, you're not angry. The president said he was angry with his first 5 words last night. Will he designate the radical left as domestic terrorists to give him the legal means to use the military and law enforcement to crush the radical left? Maybe that's what the Democrats are freaking out about. Dave Rutan, caution needs to be advised about what information to believe about the weapon. Law enforcement is saying the rifle was found in the woods. Legacy media is saying it was left behind on a roof. And by the way, what is a high-powered rifle? I mean, aren't all rifles pretty much high-powered? But I don't know what their definition is. Deb Blank just got here. Has anyone mentioned the guy behind Charlie doing the baseball-like hand signals? Yes, we were talking about it. But let's not convict or put someone in peril. I'm sure the authorities have seen that as well. Rick Williams, the worst thing remember that if you're seeing it, other people have seen it. And so if nobody has been arrested or nobody's under investigation, it may be something simple. So understand that. Rick Williams, worst thing I've ever went through was losing my pregnant, soon-to-be wife in a private plane crash. Wow. Wow. God bless. 25 years ago last May. And for our families as well. Wow. Wow. Roberto Esteban, I'm not angry. I'm sad. Nancy Copton, Trump words, fight, fight, fight. Yep. Retro Bill, please, oh please, dear Lord or God, help me manage the wreck and focus the flames of hatred I'm feeling right now towards righteous ends and not consume me in the process. Great prayer. Delaria, a book about Kirk's murder is already on Amazon? I haven't seen that. That'd be crazy. Rick Williams, having said that, it didn't happen to be but my grade school playmate, my second baseball girl on a sandlot, and to our unborn daughter. The Redeemed Patriot, fly your flags. Yes, absolutely. Born on the 4th, Proverbs 15:3, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. Thank you. Deb Blank again. So many people are sad about Charlie. My electrician helping me today took the time to pray with me for Erica and the children, our country, and leaders. I live alone and so appreciated it. Very nice. G. Fisher, I truly believe Trump is about to go all out against crime everywhere. Within hours from now, it's necessary. Watch. I do agree with you. By the way, he's going to be at Yankee Stadium tonight, so put some prayers because he's going to be at the baseball game. I'm sure they're going to have him surrounded. I wonder if he'll throw out the first ball or not. Delarfin, game development for Ghost of Yodi praised CK's death. Now gamers are canceling their pre-orders. Nice. Nice. Hit back. Gotta hit back. MPAL, if you still subscribe to cable, you're supporting MSM. Save money. Cancel now. Melody Hart, get rid of your TV service. This will get rid of the Mockingbird media we did 9 years ago. Yeah. Very good. To just another knucklehead, tip jar, can't make any comments that don't sound hateful. I hear you. Again, Dems are a domestic terror organization. I agree with you on that one. Oh, this is definitely war. Obama poured fuel on it. You Dems ignited it. So yeah, y'all started. I'm fed up. Love you, Barry, and family. R in peace, Charlie. So many mixed emotions. I hear you. I definitely hear you. Brian Newland, cutesy time went out the window. Now it's right versus wrong. Good versus evil. Rob, thank you. The Demon of Cybertron, at this point, 2026 is a fool's dream for the Democrats. Kids are freaking out. Get Deanne, get the one girl on the show, please. That Jeffrey is a huge influencer. You mean the sherbet-haired girl? If we can find her, and if Jeffree Star is willing to come on, I'd talk to him. I've never had somebody from the other side on. Lisa Velasco, thank you. Jennifer Seidel, I think the Dems see just how bad this is for them. Agreed. Metalhead, we have to protect Scott Pressler. Yeah, that's another one out there. Sherry Clem, where'd that go? It jumped. Okay, Sherry. Barry, we're going to need some music to get through. Can I please request No Quarter by Zeppelin and Turn, Turn, Turn by the Byrds? Yeah, when I get to Rumble, Rumble's had, just to let you guys know, there's been some sort of issue with the, how can I say it, the coding of Rumble. Some people are like, why are you not doing Rumble? This should be on Rumble right now, but I use a different interface, but not to get too technical on it, but as soon as things work out, we'll be back over there playing some music. Mama Mima, when you read this, you may have covered it. Benny Johnson's show this morning was very moving eulogy for Charlie. No idea what Benny had been through. I watched him on Fox last night. He and Charlie were good friends. And he talked about a story last night when his house got burned up in Washington, D.C. Charlie let him stay in his condo in Florida. So that was pretty cool. Mega Mama, yes, we are Charlie. Juan Serta, the battle line between good and evil runs through the heart of every man. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I like that. Never heard that. Tommy Irwin, we the people, no fear. John Owens, Charlie lives on. Thank you. Tommy, always valuable words, Barry. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. Captain Danny, fear not, for thou art with you. Jesus Christ. Barry Hartman, Edward Hartman. Barry, this has been a tough few days. You're the best. You give inspiration to all of us. Now we need to fight for America and fight for Charlie Kirk. Absolutely. Captain KV, Charlie had showed us the way forward. May we have enough courage to pick up his mantle and press forward. I hope so. I hope many people do. RF, carry a small Bible and pray in public always. Jax, song request for Rumble, Kid Rock, We the People. I have to look that one up. Somebody else told me that yesterday. And Nai's 74, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I love that. I love that. That is such a great passage. So I don't know if I'll get dinged for this. I'm playing it now.
How do you want to see your supporters respond to this? Charlie Kirk was a big advocate of nonviolence and free speech on campus. How do you want your supporters to respond, sir?
I think that way. He was an advocate of nonviolence. That's the way I'd like to see people respond. Say it?
Did you speak with his family?
I did. I spoke to Erica, his wife, and we had a long talk, and she's devastated. She is absolutely devastated, as you can imagine.
Are you concerned?
Charlie Kirk, have you any reporting interrogation behind the Charlie Kirk's assassination?
I don't know what you're saying.
What do you think about the people?
Mr. President, when, Mr. President, are you planning to bring both presidents, the president of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, and president of Rwanda?
They're coming soon. They're coming soon. And as you know, I spoke to their foreign ministers. They were here a couple of weeks ago, as you remember. And they'll be coming soon. The presidents are coming very soon.
This week, Mr. President, I witnessed more than 60 people in DRC Congo were killed. There is people affiliated with ISIS. Terrorist groups are taking advantage because of the situation going on because of the war. So what is your word for Congolese people?
Well, we're going to be talking to them. As you know, we are talking to them. It's a very violent place. It's very, very violent. For a long time, it's been going on for 30 years, 35 years even, they say. But we're going to handle it. Thank you.
Are you concerned they haven't found the shooter?
Any reaction on the recent drones in Poland?
Can't understand.
Mr. President, what do you think about the media that justify the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I think it's terrible. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. It's terrible.
Why haven't they found the shooter yet, Mr. President? Are you concerned that it's been 24 hours?
Well, I hear they're making big progress, and we'll have to see what happens.
Do you have any indication of the shooter's motivation, sir?
I have an indication, yeah, but we'll let you know about that later. Thank you.
You spoke with Uzbekistan president, and this last Sunday you sent greetings to Kazakhstan. UN General Assembly is upcoming. Are you going to meet with the presidents of Central Asian countries?
President where?
Central Asian countries, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan.
I will be, yeah. They're very good people, and I will be doing that, yes.
So you believe the killer was a trained assassin? Usually your instincts are always on.
I'd rather not say. I think progress is being made. He's an animal, total animal. And hopefully they'll have him and they'll get him. What he did is disgraceful. Charlie Kirk was a great person, a great man, great in every way, especially with youth. And what he did, what this man did, was disgraceful. So hopefully we'll have him and we will deal with him very appropriately.
What's your reaction to Russian drone incursion into Poland?
Could have been a mistake. Could have been a mistake. But regardless, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that whole situation. But hopefully it's going to come to an end.
Mr. President, in Brazil, Bolsonaro was just found guilty by the Supreme Court. You've been very clear that you would apply sanctions. Are you thinking further sanctions to Brazil because of this Bolsonaro?
Well, I watched that trial. I know him pretty well. Foreign leader. I thought he was a good president of Brazil. And it's very surprising that could happen. That's very much like they tried to do with me, but they didn't get away with it at all. But I can only say this. I knew him as president of Brazil. He was a good man. And I don't see that happening.
I'm very sorry for your loss, for everybody's loss. I'm very sorry for your loss, first of all.
Thank you.
How do you think Israel's attack in Doha will affect the hostage deal?
You better say it a little bit more. Where are you from?
I'm from Israel. Channel 14
Okay,
is like
go ahead, do it
Israeli
again.
Fox.
Do it
okay.
again.
How do you think Israel's attack in Doha will affect the hostage deal?
Well, hopefully it won't affect it at all. We want the hostages out, and we want them out soon. Hopefully it won't affect it.
Mr. President, my condolences to my condolences on the loss of your friend, May I ask for a coach, how are you holding up over the last 3.5 days?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually.
Thank you so much.
Your message.
All right. Obviously, that was President Trump just now, unscripted, taking questions from the whole world. The urgent manhunt still underway for Charlie Kirk's assassin. We could have an answer to who did it. We certainly have a photo. This is the photo we've all been looking at.